Muy buenas tardes, mi gente. Aquí la comadre B con otro episode de Comadreando aquí y con café. Today is Saturday, February 17th, 2024. Saludos como siempre a mi mamá. Hi, Mom. And today I want to send a saludo to a friend of mine, George. He is here, a local Pomonian, and a friend of the show since it started. So, hi, George. No, I won't give his last name because he's very private, pero I will get with you soon, I promise. I've been, so don't think I'm ditching you, okay? I will get with you soon, I promise. Un saludo también to all my regulars. Thank you guys for joining me again. Just a reminder that this and all other episodes are obviously on YouTube. If you rather listen than watch, I am also on Spotify. You can find me there under Comadreando by La Comadre B. I have weekly uploads of all kinds of interesting topics. You do not want to miss them. So today, guys, is day 5, the not so loving Valentine's. With that, you must already know what is coming. So number 1, quiero darle un trigger warning. This specific case is horrific. The details are beyond gruesome. So if you are a child, ask permission to watch this. No, I'm just playing, but please be advised, be aware, you have been warned que este caso está bien feo. And number 2, guys, just like the previous story I covered the other day, I personally do not know any of the parties involved with this specific story, with this case. I will also take this time, guys, to disclose that I picked up this story from the LA Times newspaper. So it is public record. No surprise here, right? Y otra vez, I'm letting you know I am not affiliated with any of this in any way besides me sharing this story with you. Because it is a very local story and it is in recent time, I just needed to disclose that. So with that being said, guys, deje y les cuento lo ocurrido. We're going back, guys, back into time. The year is 2014 and we are in the lovely city of Pomona. It is November 29th, 2014 to be exact. So this story, guys, is unlike others. The reason why I say that is porque hay muy poquita información in regards to this case. And it's startling to me because of the events that took place. I would have thought it had more coverage, more information, more of everything. Y no tiene casi nada. So, esta historia es de una mujer, and her name is Yvette Aurora Silva, aka Vet, with a double T. She is a 35-year-old mother of 1. It is unknown if she lives in Upland or if she lives here in Pomona, but this story took place here in Pomona. It is a known fact that she worked as a surgical tech in Upland. That's why I'm kind of unclear if she lived in Upland too and worked over there, or if she lived in Pomona and went, commuted to Upland to work over there. Yo no sé. It doesn't say exactly where she lives. Like I said, a lot of the little details no pude encontrar. Now, let's get into the boyfriend. Alright, guys. So, este se llama Alexander Anthony Cleaver, aka Alex. He is 28 years old and he does live here in the city of Pomona. So, this is where it gets ugly. Really, really ugly. So, it is the Saturday following Thanksgiving back in 2014. And this couple is hanging out at a Motel 6 on Gary here in Pomona, the one close to the 60 freeway. If you're familiar with the area, yes, it is across the street from In-N-Out. Okay, so they're hanging out, I don't know if they're partying, I don't know. Why are they in a hotel if they are a couple? Yo no entiendo. Maybe they didn't have personal space. Maybe she couldn't take him to his house. Maybe he couldn't take her to his house. The thing is, they were hanging out here at this Motel 6 on this Saturday. So I stand, right, hanging out. There is another couple with them, a guy and a girl. Y pues ahí están de party, puro cotorreo de pechito bien a gusto. So all of a sudden, right, Yvette and Alex go into the bathroom and they start arguing. Están, peleando and this and that. So the other couple's just sitting out there in the room, all awkward, just listening to this whole argument go down, and they're just like, okay, that awkwardness that happens when there is people arguing and you're just being a witness. Entonces, they start hearing thumping on the walls, even louder arguing than original, and it sounded really muffled, so they couldn't really make out the words of what was the argument over. Pero se oían los fregadazos and this and that, and this was now a full-on pleito, not just discusión. No, se agarraron del chongo. Now this couple said, okay, it's time to intervene. Let's step in, break it up. ¿Qué está pasando aquí? What the hell even happened to begin with? ¿Qué pasó? So when the couple broke into the bathroom, like they, I guess, broke the door in, whatever, they saw that Alex tenía Yvette del pescuezo. He had her in a chokehold. So at this point, Yvette ya estaba passed out. Like she was all, limp. No tenía fuerza. I'm assuming it was the male who was in there trying to get Alex off of Yvette. It is unclear who made a phone call to the police, but the police was called. I'm assuming maybe la mujer was the one that called and the man was the one in the restroom trying to, get Alex off of Yvette, whatever. I don't know. This is the details, like I said, that lack a lot in this case. Well, like I said, the police was called to come and handle the situation, and this other couple did the biggest mistake, or maybe they didn't. I don't know, you guys decide at the end. But they went out into the parking lot, to wait for the police officer to get here. Meanwhile, Alex was still in the room, Yvette was still in the bathroom, passed out. So this other couple waited. When, guys, they got back to the room, ay Dios mío, qué horror. Horrific sight to see, guys. Horrific. Agárrense. Alright, here it comes. So Alex was gone. Like they always say in the papers, he fled the scene. Se fue. The room was empty. The bathroom now. The police walks into this bathroom, this restroom, and there they find Yvette in the shower, lying in a pool of her own blood. Her cavity chest has been cut open, and lying allí right next to her was her right lung and her heart. Who does that? Who does that? Who has the strength to commit such a horrible, angry murder? Imagínense eso. That will forever and will never be unseen. Immediately, the paramedics were called. Obviously, they have to do it, right? Although it was very obvious Yvette was deceased, it was until they showed up and pronounced her dead on the scene. Police searched the room, they searched the bathroom, There was absolutely no weapon found. They didn't find anything. No había nada. A few days later, unos días después, um, the autopsy revealed that she was actually still alive when her cavity chest was cut open and her lung was removed. It was an obvious determination that there was still blood pumping to her other organs. That's why, remember, I mentioned they found her in a pool of her own blood. So imagine that, the pain of being mutilated, and there's nothing you can do about it. Just imagine not only the fear, the confusion, again the pain, and this is your boyfriend. What the heck? 2 days after Yvette was murdered, the police found Alex. They went to his house. He was there. They arrested him. When they arrested him, he did have a knife in possession. They obviously took that from him. They later tested it, and yeah, it came back positive with Yvette's DNA. So they're saying it is obvious, and most likely that was the weapon he used to murder her. This whole just case scenario chain of events is like freaking wow to me. Just wow, right? Well, it turns out, no surprise, and I don't mean to be rude or, sit here and judge people. That's for perfect people, right? Pero he did have a very long rap sheet. ¿Qué es eso? Era bien malo. He had a bunch of arrests. He had a big criminal record. So all of this was probably not a shocker, not even to himself. But wow. Again, just wow. Like, when I was reading this story, this article, I started to cry. Like, I could not believe how this guy absolutely didn't hold back. And, say he went into this whole rage of fury. Like, really? That is supposed to be your girlfriend. What is wrong with you? Turns out he was an ex-con. Yeah. He was on parole. And he was even on that program, community supervision, when this happened. The community should have been supervising him closer, because mira que hizo. He had obviously been released just recently from prison. So yeah, it's kind of like a lot of questions I personally have, considering their age difference. Where did they meet? How long did they know each other? Did somebody hook them up? She had a vocational career. She was a surgical tech. Eso es ya alto nivel. What is she doing hanging around this guy, this thug? It's just so weird. I understand opposites attract. I get it. But it's like, just wow. There is no other way I can just describe it besides a wow. Like, how? Why? Where? Who? How? Like, I don't know. Just so many questions that I have. Here I go again, just throwing it out there, another thought or question. Were they possibly on drugs? Is that why they were partying at the Motel 6? I don't mean to be stereotypical at all. If you remember at the beginning, I said maybe she couldn't bring him home, maybe he couldn't bring her home. So maybe that's why they were there. But, usually there's a certain crowd that tends to hang out at motels. So I don't know. How else do you explain something like that? Like, not only did he have to kill her, it's the manner in which he did it. Like, where did all this strength come from? And that's just me, again, questioning, because, me personally, I have the hardest time cutting through chicken bones when I'm cooking. Chicken bones, little bones. For him to sit there and be able to cut through her cavity chest, that must have been some force he had. And I understand he's a man. Obviously, you guys are stronger than women. Pero es hueso. So it's like, how? The main question that haunts me, what was this fight about? What made him so freaking angry? What happened? Si estaban bien. So now let's fast forward this to the fall of 2016, 2 years. Alex has now been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He pleaded no contest to the murder of Yvette, but he did admit to special circumstances of mayhem and torture while murdering Yvette. Go figure. It is unknown if that other couple that was with them went up there and testified against him. Up to now, like literally now, obviously there's no real updates, but this sentencing 2016 date, that other couple has never been identified. ¿Quién eran? ¿Quién sabe? The detectives, question him this and that. They say he never gave a motive why. There's no reason, nothing. He couldn't even answer. The case is obviously closed. He went through the justice system. It's over. There's no pictures of Alex Cleaver ever, anywhere. Not even a mugshot released, which I find kind of weird because I was trying to see what he looked like. I'm curious, I did find a picture of Yvette on Dead Space. So obviously they own the rights to this picture. It surprised me, like I mentioned, that although this case is so recent, there isn't much information on it. Like I said, I get it. They got into an argument. He flipped out. He murdered her. There's so many holes in this story that I don't know. I think deserved more coverage because this was a big case. So this is why I felt like I should share her story. Yvette didn't have to go the way she did. She was a victim of the ultimate violence. I don't know if you can say domestic since they weren't living together, but this was obviously a result of a very abusive relationship. Was that the way their relationship worked? Would he beat her before that? Like I said, there's so many questions I have. If any of Yvette's friends or family happen to come up on this video, please contact me. I would really love to talk with you guys and just fill in the blanks. Cases like this are very hard to speak of, especially when we have a loved one that ends up, being deceased as this story. I personally believe it can possibly save somebody's life. Muchas cosas pasan. Men and women alike hide a lot. They're quiet about a lot. And they're ashamed of a lot of stuff. But when you hear others and you can compare a story or at least know what red flags to look at, it can be a great warning and it can have you on your toes and ready for whatever comes next. That's just my opinion, but I find that to be true in a lot of different cases. Yvette Aurora Silva, rest in peace. Again, this was a horrible, horrible situation. A young, productive woman's life was taken from her. Now there's a son with no mother, parents with no child. She was somebody's daughter. A man in prison for life. Aquí, raza, otra vez, nadie ganó. Please, 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 pay attention who you're falling in love with. Again, this guy was supposed to be her boyfriend, the ultimate love, the person you're comfortable with. Every marriage starts with dating, boyfriend, girlfriend. This is the person you're supposed to love unconditionally, and look at what he did to her. Pues eso les tengo el día de hoy, raza. Have a beautiful, productive day. Los adoro. Bye.